What is up, y'all? I hope that you all are doing so great on this lovely Monday. My name is Idara Ekpoh, and I am going to be here to give you today's pro tip for the day. We're going to be in Lightroom, and I'm really excited because there have been so many incredible upgrades in Lightroom. And I am really excited to dive in deeper into one of the specific updates that we have today called Point Color. So I'm really excited. Please feel free to drop your name in the chat where you're joining from. I am joining from still kind of sunny Phoenix, Arizona. It is a lot cooler over here, but we still have the sun shining very bright. So I hope y'all are well from wherever you are joining from. So we're gonna go ahead and get started and hop right into Lightroom Classic. Now, this is an update that you have also in Lightroom CC. So whether you're using Lightroom Creative Cloud or using Lightroom Classic, you will find this update. I'm just a Lightroom Classic girly, so that's just where I tend to stay. But you can follow these same similar instructions if you were using Lightroom. So I have this kind of spread of a few colors. I figured this could be really helpful to understand a little bit more what point color is going to do and how it's going to work in your images. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. We have all of our different tabs here. So basics, tone curve, we're going to come down to color mixer. So originally what we had was just our mixer. We had our sliders, our hue, saturation, and luminance. And this is where, for me, I would do a bulk of my color grading. And now, if you know my work, I love color. And so I tend to stay here in the color mixer and color grader to do a lot of my coloring for my images, right? So previously, if you were doing a lot of adjustment of the hue, saturation, and lumens of your photos, you would have to come and target each individual aspect and use these sliders to do so. For example, if I wanted to change the orange, let's see, kind of like the orangey hue in these boxes, I would come here to orange and you would see that this is how I could adjust, right? And same thing with yellow. We have this green, this, and so if we were to just kind of mess around, you would see where we're making the adjustments, right? If I'm coming down to green, you can see that it's only really targeting, it's kind of impacting both of these two squares here. So I'm going to reset this so you can see clearly. Let me go to green, and you can see that it's impacting the first two squares because what Lightroom is doing is kind of indicating that both these specific areas have a hint of green in there where it's wanting to impact the hue, right? If I wanted to come down to saturation and impact the green, same thing. So it's kind of pinpointing these two squares because there are hints of green in them, and where I can now impact the saturation. Luminance is the same thing. So if I were wanting to, and I can also show you real quickly, the same thing is happening with saturation and also will happen with luminance with the yellowy orange kind of in these two right boxes. You're seeing that it's impacting both, and it's kind of even impacting slightly, maybe this is my eye, it's kind of impacting that second square as well. So as I'm changing, I'll come in a little bit closer if I can. Will it let me go closer? I think this is as close as I can get right now. But you're seeing where it's impacting multiple squares, where it's kind of being able to pinpoint where this color exists. So I'm gonna go ahead and reset. So that is our HSL sliders. Y'all have used that. I have loved it, used it in the past, etc. But now we have point color. So point color is really great because now you're going to be able to isolate specific colors and really just have the ability to pinpoint, have a bit more precision in your coloring, right? So if I want to target certain colors, instead of what we were seeing before, that we're seeing it's impacting, two colors because there's a similar hue, saturation, or luminance that's being found in that color, you can really try to have a little bit more precision in targeting one specific color. So here is our point color. We have this wonderful eyedropper tool over here where I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And let's start. Do I want to do green, orange? What am I feeling? What are you guys feeling? I think I'm feeling green. That's the color. There's a little bit of teal greenish behind me. So I think that's where we're going to go with. So once I click on the eyedropper tool and I just come over here and click on green, you can see that there is a kind of color challenge over here where it's showing you all of these colors, and once I click, it's now showing me an arrangement of different variations of green, right? And what you'll see here is that you really are going to have a bit more. I really like this because it's taking all of these tools and putting it into one, right? So if I wanted to impact the hue, saturation, and luminance, I have a bit more freedom to do so. And I can also, again, like we talked about, target a specific color a bit more than what I was able to do with the HSL slider. So if I wanted to come into this color box right here, I could shift to the left or the right, and it's changing the hue. So you can see that's happening there. It is slightly happening to the second box as well. We'll talk about that specifically in a moment. Now, if I wanted to impact that, so that's me doing the hue. If I wanted to impact the saturation, if I go down, it's removing, as I go up, it's increasing the saturation. So you have a bit more freedom to just kind of mess around and kind of figure out where you want to fall within this box. And as I'm doing this, you guys will see that the hue shift, saturation shift, and luminance shift are all adjusting as well. So you can come here and do it with the sliders if you prefer to do it that way. If you don't want to kind of freehand it, you can use these sliders to really come in here and be able to target some of the colors within that green. Now, the other box I want to point out is you also have this smaller box over here, which is going to impact the luminance. So bring it down is decreasing luminance, increasing luminance. And you can see that, again, it's making kind of adjustments to both of these boxes, right? So if I'm going to go ahead and reset that, I'm going to take the point color tool and then we come back to my green. And I want to show y'all a little bit about this range tool down here. This range tool is really great because it's going to, how do I best explain this? This is going to adjust or kind of determine the range of color within there that you want to focus on, right? So if I were to click on also visualizing range, this will kind of help y'all see this a bit better. So what you can kind of see is these two boxes have completely grayed out, right? So we are not impacting anything that we've done with this specific color in mind is not impacting these right two boxes, right? Because there is no green over here. We had that yellow and orange color over here, but you can see slightly that it's still picking up this second box slightly, right? So if I were to increase the range, let's say I did want to impact a little bit, you can see that got a little bit brighter. I hope you all can see that. That green got a little bit brighter there. If I want to decrease the range to really just focus on this specific color, then I would just decrease it completely. And if I remove the visualized range and we come over here back to our color box to adjust the color, you will see now that I am only impacting that first box. So that second box is not changing anymore, where it was changing before because we've reduced the range to focus on this specific shade or color of green or teal that it is now, whatever color it is now. But again, I can just impact this specific color. If you even come down here and click on the little arrow by the range, you'll also see that you have these sliders here where you can again adjust the range of the color, the hue, the range of the saturation, and the range of the luminance that you want to focus on. And again, as you're making those adjustments, it's just going to focus on wherever that range falls into place. So I really like this because you have a lot more freedom in what you're able to do. You have a lot more freedom in how you're able to target certain colors and impact them. Same thing here. If I just, let me reset this. If I just click on my eyedropper tool and come over here to this orange, it's going to pick it up. But as I am changing the hue and the saturation, it is impacting both the yellow and orange because they are kind of similar, right? They're still in the same kind of similar color family. So they are both being impacted. But if I wanted to come here, visualize the range, reduce the range, and remove some of that or yellow that we were seeing here, it is going to allow me to just focus a bit more on just this shade of orange in the photo and just impact that. This one is still slightly being impacted because there is some aspects of this color that are still being picked up, but it's a lot less than what it was before. So again, you have the freedom to really point and be specific and precise with the colors that you want to impact. So I really love this because again, you have so much more freedom. And I hope seeing that these colors changing on their own individually kind of give a bit more understanding of what this color looks like or how this tool essentially can be utilized. So with that being said, I'm going to reset it and we're going to put it into practice. We're going to talk about what does this look like when you're actually editing. Now, I am a portrait photographer. Oop, that is too zoomed in. I am a portrait photographer, so I love to incorporate color on my subjects wherever I can, whether that is in the wardrobe that they're wearing, their makeup, the backdrops. I try to find different ways where I can incorporate color. And so in this case, we have the purple that she is wearing. in her dress. And so it's really, really cute because you have all these feathers. And this is actually a photo I recently shot. I was kind of wondering whether or not I would show it. And first I was going to say like, no, I'm not going to show it, but like, you know what, why not? I'm going to edit these photos probably today. So figure it'd be a great kind of starter image. And I have some older photos that you all have seen in the past to kind of show how we can incorporate this tool as well. So I have this dropper here. I'm going to come back and let's start with the purple. I might even try this on her skin as well to see how kind of when I'm doing my skin editing too, how can I utilize this tool with my portrait photography as well when it comes to targeting and editing my skin colors. So I took the eyedropper tool and I just kind of picked on a shade of purple that is in there. And now you can see that we have kind of a difference in hues and luminance, hues and saturation, excuse me, of this specific shade of purple. So again, if I were to slide it to the left, you can see that it's changing some of the luminance, or sorry, some of the hue of that purple. Now I do want to point out, as you guys can see, let me zoom in a little bit. It's not getting everything, right? So you have this, you can see that clear separation between what was changed and what is still remaining the same throughout the photo. You still are seeing these bits of yellow, or excuse me, of purple that have not been impacted yet. So I'm gonna see, can I fix that with the range tool? So you see all this purple that's still kind of up in here. Let's see if I can increase the range. Let's see what that does there. Let's see if that's a little bit better. Now it's still not fully 100%. And I think it also is going to depend on the color because that is such a drastic difference. But if I were staying in like this kind of color family, it is impacting everything a bit better. So you're kind of seeing a better color change there. Let me see. Same thing here. If I were to change the hue range, that could help. If I were to expand it out or close it in, mess around with that. So let me go back and let's play around this a bit more. I'm gonna pick up from the same spot. We're gonna come over here. And, oh, Cody said this is a really useful tool. I really like it. And I played around with it with a little bit, and I'm really excited to play around with it with some new work that I have. So that is really, I'm just so excited. Before I move on and before we kind of play around with this color a bit more, I do want to show y'all another cool aspect is that it will keep in mind each of the colors that you're picking up, right? So if I wanted to go back to this kind of deeper yellow, deeper purple tone, I could just click right here. I wish I could zoom in, but if y'all look right next to the eyedropper tool, it is keeping track of the colors that we've adjusted. And so that way, if I wanted to go back and adjust anything further, I could do that. And I really like that because again, it's really precise. It's keeping your history, it's keeping everything in check for you. So we're gonna stay on this kind of lighter purple since that's what I clicked now. And I believe if you are on a Mac, now I cannot remember if for Windows, but if you are on a Mac and if you click on Command, you'll be able to be a bit more precise and just impacting the hue of that color. So if I wanted to let's make this purple a bit more like a little lighter. Yeah, I like that kind of. And then if I hold down, I think it's Shift. Yes, if I hold down Shift on my MacBook as well, I'll be able to just focus on the luminance. So let's say I wanted to remove it completely or increase it to be like this really rich kind of purple color. And then I can come over here to luminance and increase the luminance, decrease the luminance to make it deeper. I really like it kind of more so brighter. Now I'm going to come over here to our eye tool right here, this little eye that's right here, so I can turn off and turn on. You guys can see how we were able to just make that adjustment with that purple. So that's before and that is after. So I really do love how that just kind of switched up a bit and just really changed it. Now, what I am curious in looking into is how could this impact skin tones? Now, I haven't played too much with this, so I want to give that disclaimer. But I'm really interested, like if I wanted to come in here and pick, let's say a shade of her skin, again, if I were to, you can see that it's now impacting, I'm holding down the command tool. It's impacting the hue of her skin and then the luminance. So if I wanted to mess around with that, let me see, I'll pick the color of her skin again. Let's say, no, that's looking very Oompa Loompa like. I don't want that. But if I wanted to bring it over a little bit and then, let's see, that's too, just kind of see what this will do. Bring up the luminance. Let's see that before and after. So that's before and after. So her face is a little bit brighter than it was before. The photo in general, I wanted to do, I would probably have increased the exposure a little bit, but I really like how I was just able to brighten up her skin just a bit more, a little bit, just with making those adjustments right there. So that's, again, the before and the after. And I just really like how quickly we were able to make those adjustments. And I personally really love seeing the range of colors in that box right there. It's really pleasing for my eye, instead of me just seeing, you know, the slides that I'm working with. So you still have this option, which I really do love that Adobe gave us the option to stay in the mixer if you wanted to. But if you really wanted to be more precise, then you could come into the point color tool and play with that a bit more. So that is one photo. There again is our before and after, with just us focusing on the point color tool. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead, let's look at a different photo. Let's look at this photo. There is a lot of green. Green, I don't know what it is. I just love the color so much. It's so rich and it's so nice, and it just gives you that feeling of money, wealth, all the things that we are, you know, manifesting for our lives, right? So I'm gonna come back over here to my point color tool. Now, this is a great example because we have two different hues of the green. We have the green that's in the backdrop, then we also have the green-ish color that is in her top, right? So there is a separation between the two, but I'm interested to see how we can really target, let's say, the green that's in the backdrop, and then separately the green of her blouse, right? So I'm just interested. Let's come over here and see. Now, if I was using the color mixer tool, oh, excuse me, yeah, the color mixer, and using the sliders, if I'm adjusting just the green, if you guys can see this, we are now adjusting her blouse and the background, which I may not want. I may really like the color of her blouse, but I want to change the color of the green of the background. So I want to create that separation. So this is something that I may not want here. Same thing with the saturation. If I'm increasing the saturation of the green, I'm now increasing, well, this is focusing a bit more. I think I'm seeing both if my eyes are not playing tricks on me. Yes. So this is increasing or decreasing the saturation in both the background and the blouse as well. So I want to see what we can do if we're just going to when wanting to target this specific color. So let's say we want to just do the background. Now, in the past, what I have done is I've created a separate mask, and this has been a really great tool for another tool that was an update earlier. If I wanted to come and just click on my background, and then AI would now analyze, select the background for me, and then I could come and just change the color. That's how I was doing it previously. But again, I would do this in one space and then go and do it somewhere else. I really like now that I have the option to do everything in one space and create that separation between colors. So I'm here in point color. Let's go down a little bit. I'm gonna click on my eyedropper tool, and I'm gonna click on my background again. Now, the great thing too is you do see those different shades of this green. You have like a lighter because of the way the light was hitting the background as well. I'm gonna click on the color. Ooh, what happened? What? Oh, there we go. It wouldn't let me select that color. So I clicked on the background. Let's go right here. Yeah, okay, cool. And let's see what this is going to impact. So you can see already it is just impacting the background. Now it is also impacting her skin, because I think some of the colors that are here are being picked up in her skin, which I may not want. So let's pick somewhere else. Let's pick this green. I think I might like that a bit better. Yeah, that's a bit better. And that's only now impacting just the background. Now, if I wanted to visualize the range and see where the color is being impacted, I could click visualize range. And now the grayed out portions of the photo is where we're not impacting anything at all. So here you can see we're still picking up some of her skin. Her face is kind of almost fully grayed out, but some of her neck, her hand is still there. So that's why I wanted to pick up a different shade of green where it wasn't selecting her skin at all. So now her skin is completely out, but we're still picking up some of the greens that are in her top, which I may not want, right? So I'm going to go ahead and decrease the range. And as I decreased it there, y'all will see that we have gone from that green that was there to a lot less. So it's still picking up here in the corner, but I'm not really concerned about that. It's basically grayed out her entire top. So now we're just focusing on the backdrop. Now I could keep it like this if I wanted to kind of see how it was impacting. So you will see, like if I go like here, so you can see that it did change the green here a bit. But let's turn off our visualize range. You can see that doesn't really make much of a difference there. But as far as that little corner, right, I'm not really concerned with that as it's there. Hold on, let me make sure my chat box is still good to go. Yes, it is. All right, so I'm gonna turn off the visualize range so I can see my photo in its entirety. And again, if I'm holding down, let's see, let's click here. I'm gonna hold down Command and let's just focus on the hue. So if I come to the left, do I like that? Creates a bit more. I wanna keep that green. I just want it to be a bit more richer. So let's fall there. And then let's say I click on Shift, and I just wanna focus on the saturation. I can increase the saturation, that's giving money, money, money. Decrease it if I want it to be like not as prominent, and just see where I want it to fall. So let's say I want it to fall there. Then I can then focus on the luminance of the background. And just like that, with just a few clicks, that is our before and that is our after. So we've now created this more rich color green opposed to the kind of more olive color that we had. Now, I think this, again, some people are in the chat saying that this is a great tool. Again, I really do think it is, because you can really just target certain colors a bit more, increase, decrease your range to just be a bit more precise. And I think it creates a lot more freedom in your editing. The kind of things that I may have gone into Photoshop to do, or the things that I would have created individual masks, you know, whether that would have been going into Photoshop, creating the mask, or even using the brushes in Lightroom to create masks to just focus on specific aspects. I can now do this a bit more easier than what I was doing before, which I really like, because I am, if y'all know me, I said this before on all my previous streams, I love to save time, okay? So anything that I could do that will save me time and make things easier for me as a creative is a win-win-win-win-win, right? And so I just feel like it's really, really great in that sense. And I just love the freedom that I have there. So let's say, again, just to kind of continue, if I wanted to pick up, let's say, let's do the green in her top. Now, again, like I mentioned before, it's keeping the history of all of these colors here. And so if I wanted to go back and edit anything a bit, edit any of these colors a bit further, I could also do that, which I think is great. So let's come here. Let's just see, let's visualize the range. It is picking up some of the backdrop, but it's mainly focused on her blouse. If I wanted to decrease that, now we've removed almost entirely that backdrop and are just focusing on mainly her top. And then I could see what I would want to do. Now I'm just freely going around. You can just see how we are changing the color of her top to like this yellowish color, greenish yellow, to like a teal green, like just really being able to see that freedom there and seeing that color change. Now, again, like I mentioned, if you're on a Mac, you can hold down Command. And I do apologize. I do not remember what you press on Windows. I wish I could tell y'all. I will figure that out. And if somebody knows, you can drop it in the chat as well. But you can hold down Command and just focus on the hue, hold down Shift, so focus on the saturation to just be a bit more precise in your editing. Because while I'm doing this, I'm editing everything at one point, and sometimes I can't work with seeing it like that. I just need to like do one thing at a time. And so I like that, again, that I have that freedom here. And then you have your luminance. Say if I want to deepen her top, increase it, whatever I wanted to do there. That is, again, our before. Let's look at the before, hold on. This is the before, and that is the after. And just being able to, again, target these colors, play around with it a bit more. I love the amount of freedom I have here, opposed to what we were seeing before, where if I was just using the sliders and I wanted to impact the greens, I'm now impacting both the backdrops and her shirt, because they both have a hint of green. So it's picking up the color in its entirety instead of just picking up the color of one specific color and being able to isolate a color. Now, I could utilize these tools together, right? So if I did this, and now let's say I changed her top to more of a teal, came to point color, changed it, and then I wanted to do something a bit further with it, I could do that if I wanted to. So you really have, I'm really kind of interested, how can I utilize these tools together to create some really fun colors and changes in my images as well. So sometimes you don't have to choose one or the other. You can really find how you may want to, do the two of them together. So I really hope that y'all enjoyed that. I really hope that that was helpful, and y'all will find ways to utilize this tool a bit further in your editing and just be a bit more creative when it comes to color. I love color because it just impacts the feeling of your photo. It impacts the feeling that your audience will get when they see your photo. So I want to encourage y'all to play around with this tool and see, oh, thank you. So Command Control and the Command on Mac will be control on Windows. Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, Oliver. Thank you so much, Cody. I appreciate that. So again, like if you want to just be able to isolate and just focus on just hue or just focus on saturation, you can do that. So that way you can be a bit more precise in how you're editing. But yeah, I just want to encourage y'all to utilize this in a way that can impact and really change and transform your images. Color is a huge part of photography for me. And so I'm really, really appreciative to Adobe for incorporating this tool so we can be a bit more precise and do everything in one application, opposed to me having to go back and forth between Lightroom and Photoshop all the time. So if y'all have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out. But I do really hope that you enjoyed today's pro tip. Utilize that point color trigger tool and see how you can just transform your images. Until next time, y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.